This is not an unfamiliar matchup for us. We actually saw this not so long ago here on the broadcast Monday evening.
I do have to lean towards USF, but of course, USF did not have an incredibly hot season, but they still made it into CRL League play. That's by itself an impressive feat, so they're going to pull off that one more time. If there's a team to do it, I think Florida Poly, known for their demo meta, really getting in your heads and sending you to the graveyard, that's going to be the team that's going to shake things up, but we don't really know. We're just speculating. It's time to find out. We got a best of 7 ahead. It's game 1 underway. It is University of South Florida and Florida Polytechnic here, kicking off for our conference play-ins.
I'm quite excited to see what the game style is going to be for both of these teams. We talked about it a lot there in the pregame, so let's just leave that one on the table for now. Good plotting in for FPU. Excited to see what he can bring to the table here, but Bobsto Rex a bit more on the mainstay side of things. So as they get the offense started here, perhaps they'll be able to maintain just enough to break through, and already a demo on the back end. Hey, Taco, what was it you were talking about not even 10 seconds ago?
I don't know, I already forgot, but at least right now we can just focus on the demos coming through. Platty coming through and driving through the defender. Bobsto still a fantastic shot. Even without the demo, that's a tough one to keep out.
And it is, and just in case you need reminding, apparently, because you somehow forgot. I thought my memory was bad. Taco, you were talking about the demo plays of Florida Poly. They've gotten a little bit...
Squid. Of course I remember the demo plays. I can barely forget it. It's the so much trauma going through my mind of seeing constant demo smoke throughout the field. These guys are absolutely vicious on the exit rotations. Yeah. They never miss out on the opportunity to take out a goalie.
I can hear you furiously scribbling on your notebook right now. You know how it is. CRL, oh, banger, almost got a bump of their own. Bob still had to navigate through some traffic there to make that save. But that's just the way of CRL is. You gotta remember so many things at the same time. You don't really have much space. But it looks like USF are actually getting quite a bit of space here on the attacking side. Banger off the backboard over to Feaster. If that was a high shot, that surely would have found its way in.
Yeah, but right now it is not finding its way in. USF is trying to circle around the goal, but they're not finding any success with it. And these weak shots are not helping either, but Clears aren't doing much better. High one from Rex will at least buy some time. Bobsto, pass one into Platty. The back pass into Rex from deep. He's going to hit it just wide, but I love the interplay there, using your teammates with a strategic back pass, baiting in the defenders, and they nearly got some payoff for that.
Quite the textbook play. They're going to need to make another one here on defense, and they can't. Just inside of that near post goes Feaster, and we're tied up.
That's a tough one. Rex is trying to get a delicate touch, and then Bobsto, someone caught in no man's land. They turn toward it. They think they might have a read. They don't, and Feaster, it's not the cleanest touch, but it does its job. Past the defender, in past the post. 1-1 after just about 2 minutes played, and I think just like the series score as they face each other in week 8 of the regular season, it is neck and neck.
Let's just not talk about what just happened there. In any case, 3 minutes on the clock here. And Florida Poly off a little bit of an interesting defensive strategy, we'll call that. What they're going to be able to start up on the attack here. You mentioned the passing play we saw moments ago from them on a previous drive. I'm curious if we'll see much more of that. Another demo attempt here. Platty trying to take Banger out of the rotation. Unsuccessful, though. It will be cleared all the way downfield. Seems like a little bit of long ball for both these teams. And, of course, speak of the devil, Banger again, save on the back line. Really doing there for Florida Poly. I wonder if we're still in the feeling out phase here. It doesn't really feel like it for Feaster, though. That's goal number 2 to his name.
Now, long balls, long chases, and when you have those long chases down, you start to have space in the midfield. Credit to USF. They understand that space, and they will tuck a pass right in the middle of it. Feaster, top shelf finish, 2-1 right at the stroke of halftime. USF starting to clean things up, and it always is nice to see those teams when you're in a bout of long ball. Who's going to bust out the passes first? How about solo mechanics? That one going off the crossbar. Banger nearly bagging number 3.
And we've seen some crazy double taps of late, but Banger couldn't quite find what to put on the highlight reel, unfortunately. We'll have to revisit that one in due time. Well, it's only been about 3 minutes of regulation play here in game 1 of match 1 for the day. Bobsto, the double tap chance, and they will get it here! Sean not able to get it away, and we're tied again.
And that seems like a slow read, but it is so difficult to know how that's going to roll. Is it going to bounce out a little bit more? Is it going to go straight down? Bobsto has read that all the way through and gets the dunk. Perfect positioning. Look at that aerial awareness, leading his team on shots and goals, and they're all tied up again.
It's a beautiful performance here. We've got the two clear strikers on either side. Beanster and Bobstow taking the lead. Of course, you do have to credit Demolition for goal number 1 on the FPU side. Looking for more, almost a double tap there on the corner. Platty chases one away, and Banger can't make it back. Again, the physical threat clears the net.
And Platty showing that points aren't everything. They're at the bottom of the scoreboard, but they are single-handedly breaking down this defense in the back. No demo this time, but it forced that USF defender up on the wall. They could not get down in time, and there is the lead for Florida Poly, living by that play style, and they're living well.
They are. Finally, somebody else getting a bit of the scoring as well. So with 2, Rex now with 1. There's still plenty of time here for South Florida, so it's not all she wrote just yet. It's a nice high ball here from Shaw. Their backup has been taken out of the play now. Heads up Demolition there from Bobstow, eliminating the rotational play off the forced challenge. But now, chance for a counter quickly shut down. Bobstow with the cutoff in the midfield. Sean needed some height on that ball. Right now, it seems like South Florida are struggling just a little bit to find some space and time here against the FPU midfield.
Yeah, but FPU is doing a good job, and they're starting to slow down, which is not what USF wants. They're doing a good job to break out when they have space, but when that space isn't afforded to them, then you need to get to a different strategy. You can't be telegraphing these passes across the field, especially now that FPU is playing so aggressive right at the 50-yard line. And aggressive in the air as well. Rex off the backboard. Banger had to reach and will extend it out just enough. A deflection, but Bobstow is there. Not a clean clear. 2 up for USF. Feenstra gets blocked, I believe, by his own teammate. A rough state of affairs for them. And they're going to have to go back to the drawing board with 30 seconds remaining.
At least they're able to keep it on the end, but those 2 demolitions certainly not going to help. A pass here up to Feenstra. They do have a really good control of this ball. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to do much with it. They just have to keep it under control for now. They can't really let this get pushed past the midfield too far. Otherwise, it's going to be a full reset. It looks like they've let that get to exactly that point. Bob's still up first. John with contact. Nice bump there from Banger. They need more, though. Another 50-50 win here against Platty. It's getting close to that goal line, but touched away here in the critical moment. And now the final second will burn away. Rex under control here. Just going to go with the slow ball and will score here at 0 seconds just to put the cherry on top.
Yeah, cherry on top, indeed. It's a delicious meal that they've crafted. It was back and forth, but they held on to the lead. USF did not have the response, and Rex just really putting the exclamation point there with the best mechanical play of the day so far. Game number 1 belonged to Florida Poly, but it is a very long series ahead. They're going to have to keep on bringing that heat, especially with that demo play. USF just had no answers at time with Platty running through the backfield.
That's very much true, but I feel like that may change, so leaning too much on that demo might not be the greatest idea. I have to say, though, they did a phenomenal job with their midfield presence there about halfway through the game. Once they started getting that lead more and more consistently, South Florida had some trouble trying to push past there, and I think that's the one spot that they're going to want to keep consistent throughout the series, no matter what their play style is. I think that can pretty much be said for any Rocket League team, is try to lock down your opponents, try to force them to make bad plays into the corner, so that way you have a safe defense, right? Make that safe transition at the very least, and at the very best of times, you can drive it back into the other end, maybe even get an extra goal on top of that. So very safe play overall from Florida Poly, not an issue, but if USF does break through first, it might be a little bit of a complication.
Absolutely, and they've got to make sure it is as simple as possible now that game number 1 is out of the way. We've drawn first blood now. Who can answer back on the side of USF? They're going to be under the gun early on, but we'll be able to muscle through 2 players. Feenstra slowing things down and doing then some. A deflection to Sean, but a good follow through from Bobstow. 50s abound in the orange half, but another long clear will go down. First chance potentially from Platty. I don't even think they expected that deflection. Bodies flying all around the ball, but no contact. It'll just gently float back out to mid, and USF will have yet another chance to get up on offense. Banger to the ceiling. They get a gentle touch. Feenstra didn't expect that one. Just so much awkward play. Feenstra still has the read. What is going on at the top of the box?
Well, let me tell you, this is not looking like the game we just saw. There are so many weird plays happening already, Taco. I mean, Feenstra off the backboard didn't make contact. Platty had a free shot, but they didn't realize it was going to happen, so they were not prepared. I don't blame him for that one. And then back down the other way, so many weird misses, honestly. You claim they'd be tactical whiffs. It could very well be the case. I have no idea. It sure was confusing at the end of the day. USF even looking for more here. Sean denied, though. At the top of the box there by Platty. They're still on the attack, though. Bobstow can't quite get this one away. Platty off the backboard. They are in dire straits right now, but Feenstra can't get enough mustard to put that one on target.
And right now, we're talking about tactical whiffs, but at that pace of play, you really have to rely on those touches from the opponent. And the moment it doesn't come in, it can be dangerous. Rex leaving that near post option open. I don't even think they thought Sean had this angle.
Apparently not. I mean, if I was on the defense here, you'd be rotating through that front post. Perhaps it was a miscommunication and Rex thought Platty was going to be closer to them. I don't really know what's going on right now, if I got to be honest with you. And I spent a lot of time watching Rocky League, so I think that says something about the state of the game, if even I don't understand what's going on precisely. But USF have a 2-goal lead, and that's what's important. Bob's so narrowly making contact with that one. I honestly thought he was going to let it through there. So South Florida coming back with a vengeance here at the start of game 2, to say the very least.
And Florida Poly, even when they try to get on, USF sending some demos through and some goals through onto the goal. Feenster from midfield after the demo.
Oh my goodness, what is happening here for Florida Poly? I'm shocked to see this massive change in pace, Taco. I gave them praise. I was like, oh, wow. You played a great midfield. Congratulations. Now keep that up, no matter what your play style is, and things will be dandy. They've been unable to do that. They've been unable to hold a back line, and almost scored on again here. Feaster right out in front is denied. But still, this is just absolute mayhem. They have to gain some control of this ball and fast.
Where are they getting this confidence? Rex and Bobstow are on the squad that is down by 3, and they're pre-jumping each other off ceiling resets, but it doesn't work out that time, but I suppose they're still having fun with it, and that's all that matters. They have a lot of time to get back into it, and some bump plays to try to put their signature spin on things. That one going to get denied on the near post. Now back the other way. Feenster on the near post, deflected by Rex. I don't think it was on target, but they were taking no chances on that one. Another eye lob. Feenster into the ceiling. Tough read. Banger straight down. Feenster another touch, and that's going to get past Sean. Just like pinball right now in the Florida Poly half.
Oh my goodness, and Banger getting bumped out of the way here by Sean. The pass over to Feedster, almost on target. Right now, I feel like South Florida, they're just going for the confusion play. I gotta be honest right now. They just see ball, hit ball. And let me tell you, it's working for them. It's not often that you see this kind of a play style really succeed. But when it does, it is the most confusing thing. How do you counter this as Florida Poly at this point? I think that's the real question they're asking themselves. And finally, a miss here from Feaster might open the way, but they can't capitalize on that one, and it clears out to the corner.
Yeah, Platty was sent back to their side with a demo, and he'll have a chance to respawn with a goal. Good putback by Rex, and that will be at least one back for the Phoenix, trying to resurrect this game number 2, which has really gotten away from them. 2 minutes remaining. Can they get those 2 goals?
And they've got to be a little bit glad that Banger kind of had a bit of a misread on that play. Obviously not being able to defend the backboard is going to be suboptimal in basically every instance, and they're able to capitalize on it. It's a 2-goal deficit with 2 minutes to go. That's loads of time in Rocket League years. And well, it's not going to be a lot of time for Rex. He gets bumped out of the way on that one, trying to control that ball. Bobstow, though, back into the zone. Great 50-50 here, straight to the top of the box. Not able to close the gap immediately, but Feaster doesn't expect it. Was expecting more speed from the opponent, and again, is that slow play from Florida Poly ended up netting them game 1, but it doesn't seem like it's working out for them here on the defense. Every time we see it on the offense, I want to give them praise, but they can't hold the back line.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is a great touch by Feenster. There's a lot to do here. You're at midfield, you're driving back towards your side, and really the only redirect you can really get is just by jumping and kind of tilting your car, and they do it perfectly. Bobstow can't catch up to it. That's a goal number 4. Gives them back that 3-goal deficit, and that 90 seconds remaining is quite a lot for Florida Poly to do with, but my goodness, USF has woken up this game. It is not back and forth. It's very much them dictating how this game is going to go, and as long as they stop these double commits on offense or have no awkward giveaways, it could be their game for the taking. Bobstow off the side, almost tucking that one through, but instead it'll deflect all the way back into their half. Rex, one more touch, and that's to the corner.
There's still time here again for Florida Poly. It's long odds. It's still doable. A demo on the back end, but they lose one player of their own. Now open net potential. No Feaster is there. There's nobody there for the immediate follow-up as well. A fake there from Sean. Still a demolition. They're trying for it. Just cannot punch through the defense here. They're making very good use of the time, though, I'll admit. Sustained pressure is eventually going to break through if they can keep it up. Rex out of the corner once again, straight towards the mid. If somebody was in the air for that, it's a surefire goal, but they cannot close the gap. They had to go for the reset, and now pushed out of the end here. Nice brief for the Sean.
Yeah, very well, nice. Feenster was the only person who could really get to that up until Florida Poly was able to get just enough on it. Sean gets even more on that shot. 22 seconds remaining, and this game is all but USF's.
turn of the scripts here for Florida Poly. Again, I commended their defense in the last game near the end, but they really have been letting a lot of shots go through here, Taco, and I think it might be the pace increase that we saw from South Florida that caused this result. But I have to say, I'm very impressed with Florida Poly on the offensive side, so I feel like I know what their win condition is right now. Although I'm not too much a fan of this particular play style. I would like to see a bit more of a strong safety with them being able to make safe transitions onto the back end. Again, I noted that was one of the things they were doing strongly in the last game. So maybe they just refocused where they didn't really need to, or it was USF that forced them into a play style they weren't comfortable with.
Speaking of uncomfortable, there's so many weird touches around the goal. And part of me wanted to say, that's not the way to play USF, but you had said that it is one of the most frustrating play styles to go for. If you're just instinctually going for every ball and there's not too many deadly double commits and at least you're keeping the ball in somewhat of possession, you're able to generate a lot of offense. In that game, they had 16 shots across that entire offensive repertoire that they were showing. And it looked weird at times, but as long as Florida Poly does not have an answer, I think they've found the way that they should really follow through in the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing about it, right? Is if you can confuse your opponents while keeping every single one of your teammates on the same page, then there's, I mean, that's honestly a deadly recipe. You are going to have a lot of success in the offensive end if you can make that happen. I mean, we've all been there before, right? You're playing against a team and you just cannot tell for the life of you what is going on with the ball at any given moment. Like, any preconception that you had about Rocky League has been shattered by this team right now. And USF, they kind of had something going for them along those lines for a little bit. It seemed like things got back on the rails, but already they had a significant lead by that point. And the fake there from Sean immediately off the faceoff, already Banger with a potential chance, but he can't make contact. Well, this has been an interesting start to Game 3 already.
Yeah, and a classic hallmark of high-level play. Two players going for it. They both have to read each other, and then none of them touch it because they're both trying to react to the other person's touch. So I think that shows the respect also being displayed on the field for everyone. I think even then, at this level of play, games can get away from them. Florida Poly certainly was on the losing end of game number 2, but it seems like they're back in business, and they're trying to mount some possession in the blue half and finding some success up until Sean gets that 50 Rex with a giveaway. Now Banger off the backboard. It's completely unmarked. Fiendster with the putback, and that's 1-0.
Being able to read this one past the defender here as well is the more impressive part of this gameplay. And Bob still, I mean, just barely missing that. But again, Fiendster, no troubles. Still manages to put it on target. Well played.
Also, the awareness to be able to just put it into the open net, but look at the awareness in the midfield. Rex just kind of taps one forward, which, yeah, might slow the forward momentum, but it's essentially teeing up the clear onto the backboard for USF, but there's nothing easy about that one. Banger just muscling through. He's too quick, and that's 2-0.
Yeah, and this is just FPU not being able to make the proper plays here. I mean, there was the force off the corner, I would argue, but at the same time, with a win that massive, you can hardly blame the goaltenders at that point. There's not much that they can do with that read. The ball's moving so fast. South Florida already with a massive 2-0 lead. At least it feels massive to me. Platty had a chance to potentially get one back there. No read was to be had. I feel like right now, Florida Poly, again, their win condition, they have just got to start hammering on the offense. They've had some very high-quality 50-50s on that end. Case in point, Rex right here. Been unable to put it on target or maintain pressure for long enough to break their defense.
And Rex is going through for a demo on Platty's shot. They didn't find it, and I think that is really the double-edged nature of their play style. They love chasing down demos. They love being able to get on top of it. The moment you start whiffing, then you just have one player who's just lurking upfield for no reason, not helping out your defense. Therefore, your defense has to be locked down tight, and it hasn't been. Florida Poly has been repeatedly caught a little bit unaware of the USF counterattack, and I think USF is more than happy to get on the board with those opportunities, though it's not like Florida Poly's helpless. They're still getting shots and generating saves out of USF. That was a banger from Bob Stowe. That's going to get turned away, and now Platty and Rex gonna have to try to build out of their half. Gonna get cut out, and Banger Boy will put another one on the backboard. As Fiends drive another one in, and no, just gonna go wide.
That is the worst feeling right there. If you are a defender, and oh, the demo, it's not there. Banger makes the save. I think he went out for the squishy on that one to avoid Rex. And USF turns away the opponents once again. so many positions where I'm looking at this and I think, oh my goodness, I would hate to be that defender, and this is one of them. Bobso through 2 for goal number 1.
Doesn't have to be incredibly smooth. You just have to get it past that one defender. This is a nice cut past one, and then they just try to slow it down just enough. Banger diving at it, and then unfortunately they dive a bit too far. Back to a 1-goal game right at the stroke of halftime. That is exactly what Florida Poly needed. USF is starting to get on a roll, so anything to slow them down, I'm sure is much appreciated.
Which is true. Got the 1, but you really need to see that second one. We do need to see it now, and it looks like they might have it. Platty caught off, and oh no. Oh, Feedster! Completely open net, could not capitalize. The save made here on the back line, but Rex gets faked out. Platty comes in from the side for the save. The confusion strategies for USF are working wonders, and again, a pass here denied by Platty. It looks like the defense here for Florida Poly has certainly become a little bit more stalwart, but they've still got to deal with Feedster with the doozy dish off the side. Relentless pressure, again yields a goal.
I mean, Feedster, I don't know how they read that. They're going from the side with the whole time. Bobso gives him the inside challenge, then nicks it outside, and there was no bite. Feedster knew exactly where they wanted that ball to go, dunks it through, and then even at a pass in the middle, I was about to chide them for not passing it down to the player in the middle, but they do it themselves, put their team in front even more. USF really liking how they're playing. A lot of confidence on these challenges, and it seems like they're really getting into a flow state.
It does seem that way, and I think overall as well, individually, I've been more impressed with their players. I mean, commendations obviously to Platty, the demo attempts in Game 1 that seemed to net them the win. But it seems like USF as individuals are more aware of how the play needs to go and able to execute in more facets than we've seen out of their opponents so far. That is to say, USF is playing better. In any case, final 80 seconds now underway here. Still a 2-goal deficit here for Florida Poly. They've had some flashes of brilliance on the offensive side. When you're going to need to see more, though, the defense has certainly become a little bit stronger, but not strong enough.
And right now, even though there's no goals going down, USF is holding this mostly at the midfield and in the Florida Poly half. Got a minute remaining to be able to drain down this clock and protect this victory, and it seems to be working. Florida Poly barely has enough boost and momentum to be able to get these clears through, being met with a fierce resistance at the mid, and another one will deflect across. Feedster trying to take an air dribble, but they'll pass up to Sean, who will therefore put it into the corner. Feedster tight angle, but that still required a save. Platty trying to gather possession, but all they can do is grab that boost steal. Double commit on the ball in the corner. It'll still deflect through. And Feedster will have an easy possession, just tapping it back out to mid. 20 seconds remaining. Florida Poly still needing 2.
Florida Poly desperately trying to hold on to control as well. Again, talked about the strength of their midfield play in Game 1. Haven't really seen that since. And they made an effort on the last one, but the 50-50s just did not fall in their favor. They've got one last chance here. They've got to score with time left, and it does not look like it's going to happen. Feedster with the clear out to the mid. That one will seal the deal. On the final second, withers away. Blue, in this case USF, will be taking the victory, and the second game in their series. So it's 2-1 now in favor of South Florida. Again, not on the last legs are Florida Poly, but they're getting close.
It's getting a lot less fraught, I would say, on the Florida Poly side. I think they looked a lot more organized, but some of these slight touches, like Rex going up in the midfield, instead of hitting it to the side or hitting it up and buying time, they just tap it straight down, and Feedster is able to just have a free setup from his teammate onto the backboard. All these touches can't go through, and if you are, you have to make sure that defense is staggered. One on the backboard, one in the goal, one to challenge ball, and it doesn't seem like they have those roles set. The amount of times I have a shot and I have to kind of look around the field to say, where is that save coming from? And then they desperately dive in and get a save. It's just not enough. USF is too organized, and right now they're looking smooth. The goal margin might be shrinking, but their series lead is growing. They have taken the lead in the series. We're in match number 4 here to determine if it's going to keep on going. Does USF have what it takes to go on to match point, or does Florida Poly have some resistance in them yet?
Talk about the organization from South Florida, and I feel like for Florida Poly right now, all they have to do is start getting a little bit better at predicting these outcomes of these challenges. Because it seems like more often than not, it's Florida Poly who are getting driven back off of a weird 50-50 or just straight up getting scored on by weird 50-50s out of the side, regardless of the fact that they had somebody in the net.
Yeah, and it can be so tempting to get those challenges in. Platty's rotating back, but instead of getting around the ball, they're to the side of the ball. The only way that goes if you have forward momentum coming from the other direction is going to be a deflection on target. I feel for Rex, this can be so awkward. You're driving forward, suddenly you got to reverse, but also twist and turn, and it can be a bit too many calculations to make in a short span of time, under 30 seconds, and they're already behind. Can't feel good for the Phoenix, as they've have to feel like they've had some steady improvements, but some things just come toppling on down. This one rolling into space, Banger getting number 2.
We talked about a little bit at the very least how their defense became stronger in the last game. Well, unfortunately that is just a memory at this point. I mean, having nobody in the backfield there, that one certainly hurts. Despite the fact that their third did dive on the side wall, and it seemed like it would have been a good force challenge in some ways, there simply wasn't any backup. And this is what I was talking about. They need to start getting just a little bit better at predicting where these challenges are going to go, and failing that, you know, obviously, because that can be quite difficult, but failing that, you need to have the strong safety zone coverage, and hasn't really been working out for them so far. A nice one-off opportunity there from Rex will also go to the wayside.
Bob's trying to keep some possession with the pre-flip off the back wall. Rex will chase, but so too will Platty. Near post, they need a touch. They will get it. Another one rolling around. Banger rotating all the way back. Boost steal from Sean at midfield is going to boost our Florida Poly even more. He's going to take over on the lob. 3-person passing play, and that is a beauty for number 3.
This is the last place you want to see the defense as well. Feenstra with the control, Sean with the tap down, and Platty just has to guess at this one because they know they have no reinforcement. They can't afford to wait on the back line just in case that pinch comes through. They have to close the gap. And again, that's the last place you want to be in as a defender. You're basically forced to guess at where the ball is going to go and get out for it, because USF is going to plant that one on target every time. You've got a very small chance of actually guessing correctly where it's going to go.
Yeah, and oftentimes when we talk about offense in collegiate play, it's the amount of shots the team gets off and really the amount of pressure they're going through. And oftentimes, collegiate play, sometimes it could just be how many shots can we actually score? Yeah, we have a lot of pressure, but that's not really an issue. You talked about USF is always putting those on target. Increasingly, their accuracy is getting so good, shooting 60% right now in terms of the shots actually being converted, and any percentage that high is going to take quite a lot to overcome. Florida Poly does not have that answer, and they are running out of time. I'm talking about in this game, but also in this series. They definitely need some form of shift in mentality to be able to come back from this, because right now it feels like they're just trying to grasp at straws. All these passes coming in the middle, no one there, and the counters just come back and back and back from USF.
Oh my goodness, and Platty caught an end lag here with the flip, trying to push forward right behind 2 attackers, and this feels like it might be the final nail in the coffin for me on this game. I mean, that is just the worst kind of place to get caught out. We don't expect teams of this caliber to have these kinds of trivial mistakes, Taco. It feels like Florida Poly is either in their own heads or USF is living there rent-free, as they say. At the moment, I feel like it could be a bit of a combination of both. They seem to have basically no response here. And that's not to speak, again, of anything about the stakes. If anybody's just joining us, do recall that this is for a playoff spot. So whoever loses here is out. And presently, USF is poised in a great way to go up 3-1 in this best of 7.
Yeah, but I will say this, last time these two teams went off against each other, it was a game 5, best of 5, so it went the distance. This one, if it was the same case, might be ending in game number 4, but this is a best of 7. Series are won one game at a time. Florida Poly still has some life in them, but at least if you're on the side of USF, you got to be pretty happy about how you're playing right now. Your only losses throughout the season was against the first place UCF, and for the most part, they're playing pretty clean. This one, not so much.
Yeah, well, there's an outlier in every situation, and again, a demolition player for FPU. A nice fake there by Platty as well. So there was some control on that play for Florida Poly, which I wish I didn't have to say with such a tone, because it does feel to me that as though they have had very little control overall in this game. Case in point, Rex unable to get that one under control, and now a shot comes on target. Platty was unable to defend that off the backboard. Who knows what would happen if that was under the crossbar, for instance, but now, again, they have very little time to work with here to score 3 goals, and they are under constant pressure, and it will pay off here for South Florida, who look like they are ready to put a bow on this series and call it wraps.
I gotta say, Platty right now has been so often in this position where they're last back and they are a pixel away on the pre-flip, or they just can't quite reach a pass, and USF just happens to have that person lurking upfield, and oftentimes that person is a banger boy, living true to his name, shooting 100% here in game number 4. 4 goals, 4 shots, carrying the offensive load, and really getting it done. But they need to make sure they close out this game. It's still quite the task to do, but Rex will bag number 2 for his side.
And again, 3 goals is on the docket here for Florida Poly. 65 seconds to make it work. Certainly not impossible, but if I had to rate teams on a scale of 1 to 10 on how well I could expect them to come back, I honestly have to say Florida Poly's probably a 4 for me. I just don't see it happening at this point in time. They haven't really given me any semblance of belief, but now I might have to bite my tongue a little bit here. It's 5-3. Still not the most glowing review for a scoreline, but USF might be getting lazy.
I mean, it's a top-notch flick, but having a double commit on the side of USF is a little tough. No one read that one was not finding its way through. It was going onto the crossbar. Maybe they just wanted to cut it out. Regardless, back to a 2-goal game, and I'm not going to say plenty of time to work with, but I would say enough time to be able to make a plan with Platty. Going back to their old tricks of the demo attempt, but they're not going to be able to meet Banger. They're going to be able to burn a lot of time down by kicking it into the orange half again. Rex led the way with Platty with a demo again. Now it's Bobstow. Taking their time, not the touch they wanted, almost putting it into the path of Feenstra instead. Will get a pinch. Platty, no demo on Banger yet again. They keep chasing him, but nothing being found. Rex one more to the side, and now it's a potential 3-on-1. Sean just trying to sit back and does his job well. Another 50 down, 15 seconds on the clock. As anything can happen right now, but I don't know if it's going to be a Florida Poly goal.
Doesn't seem like it. Back down the other way here. Feenstra over to Banger. They can't find Sean with that one, but they don't need to. That's the last little bit of game time gone now. And talk about some butterfly effect, Taco. You and I were both looking at the same play. Was that Bobstow dribble in the midfield? It looked like he was going to have a great possession with a lot of options. He had wingmen available to them, potential for a demo, potential for a solo play, potential to go up high or even on the wall with it. And then just got a little bit past the ball and everything shattered. And Banger was able to apply the key pressure in the mid that forced Bobstow to basically give it away off the sideline. If you want to talk about butterfly effect, that is the one key moment in those final seconds that I would cite.
And especially when you're down, every single touch has to have purpose. And when you are uncontested, there's a lot of things to think about. Okay, there's no pressure on me. I can bang this high, I can bang it on the sidewall, I can look for a pass, or I can dribble it. They opted for the latest option there, and they did not get their wave dash. They slowed down too much. They tried to swerve out of it, and touches like that, even though it seems like, oh, you can still recover, it's still your ball, that slows down the entire attack, because now you have to shift directions, everyone else has to react to you, and it just doesn't really quite work out. That entire 60 seconds that we were just waiting between these games, these players were taking it on the side of Florida Poly. They know they are one game away from being eliminated here in our conference play-ins. They're not going to be able to go on against UCF, so they're taking their time, they're thinking about the adjustments they need to make, and we'll have to see if any of it is going to pay off in the next 5.
That is the real question, and I dearly hope for their sake that the answer is yes, but I think my heart lies with USF on this one. They have been playing so well in this series so far, and FPU have had so many weaknesses that have been exploitable here for South Florida. First shot here will be denied. It was a close call off the backboard again. Bobstow for the double tap. It's still dropping down towards the net, but not quite inside the post, and they will be turned away here off that first offensive. Let me tell you, getting this first goal would be rather important for momentum. I'm certain they can't quite drive it home.
That's so much space in the midfield after Rex got demoed, and they're going to be able to be revived and carry something down with Platty, but that pinch only going up. Sean taking it slow, flip reset, met well by Bobstow. Platty has Rex in the middle, but they can't wrap around the touch. Double commit there. Banger and Sean lurking upfield. Bobstow needed a nice clear, and they do. Bobstow is really the player that I think, out of all the players in FPU, he's always been the leader, always been the one that I think has taken charge when they need to, and I think they need him more than ever to be able to be that solid force and get those goals when the opportunity presents. USF caught in the midfield, and Bobstow hits it from downtown.
This seems like the first good defensive play we've seen in a hot minute. Feenstra had every opportunity to make that cut, but you could see Bobstow respected the options. This is the point now where South Florida has to realize that FPU are playing with their brains online right now. You can't just make fakes every single time and expect them to play off of instinct. They are now respecting They're playing for the raw option. They're not playing necessarily for what they think is going to happen. They're playing for what could happen. That fail-safe kind of play style is what I was talking about in that last game, right? Sort of a strong safety mentality. And they managed to make it happen there. It netted a goal. Looking for more here.
And Bob Stoke trying to get it happen. A beautiful cut, and they have a decent amount of control. Not the boost, though. Sean combining with Banger. That's going to get past Platty. They were jumping at nothing in the air. Rex jumps early. It's underneath them. Bob Stoke lets it bounce. A dangerous decision because a bump follows through. Rex and Platty are there on the follow for the save. Another one coming around. Sean, a cute little touch, but it's too far. The deflection past Beanster. USF still playing good offense, but no finish. How about Rex on the far end? The counterattack for number 2.
I did not see this one coming, but Rex got the red vision right here and managed to drive it past Sean. That was a close one, as at the very least. South Florida, I respect the gusto on the attacking side. Certainly, your performance thus far has merited such an aggressive offense. A lot of one here in the back end may be slightly concerning for you. Perhaps it might be worth refocusing your efforts and trying to get back to a neutral state, kind of the same way we experienced in game 1. Obviously, it wasn't optimal, but it worked well. And Banger for the shot here. That one's just too high. Ball number 1 here on this drive. Sean and Feaster can't put anything together either, and the demo in the midfield slows things way down. Those bump plays have started to come out a little bit more in force here, Taco, and it seems to be having a profound impact.
It certainly is, but I love the speed Florida Poly showing in the midfield, and they're not giving away possession. Platty trying to throw that one to a teammate, and they will have a back pass. It will lead way, however, and USF will have a chance near goal, but not on it. Double commit. Sean and Feedster maybe getting a little impatient, trying to dive in on this follow through. No touch, Platty. What a save from Bobstow on the reaction, keeping that clean sheet for their squad, and it's well deserved. They're playing well on offense and on defense. 2 minutes remaining, trying to protect that lead.
Oh, the double commit there, Bobstow. Plenty of time, but can't get under control in time there. This one way out in front of the goal mouth. They're not able to capitalize on an opportunity, but USF, they've got to be careful. That double commit could very well have become a goal against, if not for a little bit of luck. Now Banger off the backboard does put this one up for 90. And finally, they'll hit pay dirt after being unsuccessful for so long.
It's one thing to hit the crossbar on shots, but on opportunities like this, you need to put it on target. These are free goals at this level as long as you don't hit it right at the goalie, and Banger will hit it right into the top right. It's a great finish going in, and it's exactly what they needed to stay in this game. They are on match point for this best of 7 conference play-in, and they can really taste it. Florida Poly might be resurgent, but I need them to stop playing so aggressive. The amount of times I've seen Platty or Rex going on the backboard for a play they do not need. You have the lead, just protect it.
I'll be honest, at this point, I'm seldom inclined to say that if they are feeling good about their gameplay that they should really change it. But sometimes it does happen. We'll see if they can maintain the defense here. Feaster, that is not the greatest touch. Sean has to stay on the ground for a long time there. Cannot get this one away from the backboard. Platty forces the challenge here. Don't have a quick follow-up for it, but again, it's all about this midfield play. We've seen them hold it before in game 1 with the lead, and they do it again. Huge 50-50 there for Bobstow, and no follow-up. And need to see that player getting just a little bit closer. As you mentioned, Taco, playing safer on the defense might be a good idea, but they're clearly not playing safe enough as Sean finds a gap here.
It's such a beautiful put down. Rex is just essentially chasing that ball. They know that ball is going to go in the corner, but I think they lost track of the player mounted up on the side. Banger scored all the goals last game, and now they're dishing them out as well. Sean with a good putback, and we have a tie game with 46 seconds remaining. Florida Poly, you lost your lead, but the game is not done yet. You've got one more in you. Platty right at Banger. Bobstow on the follow through. That was a demo from Rex, but we will not be able to reap any rewards. Another clear out to mid.
Clear for Sean. Backboard, Sean gets a piece of it. That finds Banger, actually. Huge clear, provides the opportunity for a reset here for USF. Shot not quite on target here. That one could have been dangerous. Demo was on the other side now. Go back to a neutral standpoint here in the corner. Dangerous spot to be for FPU. Risk-taking is not their business right now. They're not able to keep this one away from Sean. Oh, Banger is sitting down there looking for Rex. Can't quite find it. Feaster lurks. Can't make the 50-50 happen. Florida Poly still in this game here as the last second burns away. Pass back towards the mid. Nobody is there. Overtime now. Golden goal territory for USF. They score here and they're in.
And a golden goal in every sense of the word. Certainly a lot to play for, and FPU, a lot to live for. I can't say the same about Rex. He's off the field, but being shorthanded are not going to hurt him any. Bobsto with a nice long clear down. Gets a demo to boot off the ceiling. Platty, bit of deflection. Can't race back in time. Banger, only gonna lob one. It's wide open for Rex. It's a banger, but it's off target. He got good contact, but accuracy needs to be there. We talked about how an open shot like that has to be on target, and that is a prime example of why.
Very much so, but they still have their chance in this game. They're going to have to be able to rub it off here. That could be one of the biggest mental blocks in all of Rocket League, and Sean dire straits here does manage to clear it out to the corner with some relative control here. Next back towards the zone. D50's not there, but Bobsto is ready for the force. Now back towards the midfield. Banger 1v1 here. Platty with the early tackle. I love that aggression there. Can be so risky. You just have to try and close down that option as soon as possible. Do not give time to think for the opponents. The Poly have had the possession here for majority of the OT. Bobsto, perhaps the dagger, not quite. It's just high and wide. Back down the other way. A Demolition will slow down their opponents, but USF still get out onto the attacking side.
Credit Florida Poly, they have been up against it, but they are sticking true to their game plan, getting a lot of demos on these extra rotations. If USF wants to take their time, then they better tick down the seconds that they have to be alive on the field. Florida Poly now, we're having to show off their defensive capabilities. A lot of backboard plays. Bobsto getting harassed, but has just enough. Sean trying to cyberbully their player out of the way, but nothing doing. Another long ball across. USF on the quick counterattack. Bobsto, they have the pace, and another save will go through. Nearly 2 minutes played here in OT. Come down to one mistake, and Florida Poly just trying to hope it's not them.
4-50 there from Platty. That miss from Bobsto could have been a tactical fake back into the corner. They never know. That one just high off the target. Platty can't 50 it in either. Bobsto for the recursion here on the rotation. Can't quite beat out Bang, but now open as a passing target. Back towards the mid. Is a three there. Oh, Feedster off his own crossbar. And there's no boost for Rex. He can't close the gap. And they'll get pushed back onto their own end towards the middle. Platty is able to follow it down, but they're still in a bad way here. Quality challenge to the mid. And finally, a bit of respite here off of a crazy sequence of events there moments ago.
If this wasn't an esport event and it's all done in the computer, I would definitely be throwing a challenge flag on that last one. I have no idea how Feedster gets a ball on his target and then it hits the crossbar and goes out and then stays out. No one around for Florida Poly. That one has to make you hang your head, but you have to just shake it off instead. You're still at offense. You're still in this game, and you only got one more chance to put away to continue this series. Another deflection through. Feedster just trying to march it down the field, but Bobsto and company playing well in the mid. The demo's leading the way, and it can't find its way through for USF. One more pass in the middle. Banger on the near, and that will do it. They will move on and face UCF in the Southeast Conference Championship.
Oh my goodness, just when things were getting juicy here, Florida Poly have 3 players covering the net. 1 on the backboard, 2 in front of the back post, but none of them have that one shot lane covered. And Taco, this game ends in the worst scenario possible. When things were really heating up here at the end. When USF was just dominating in games 2, 3, and 4, and then we get to game 5, and it's like, what in the world is this? And then it's just an overtime goal that looks so simple, and they end the series there. Florida Poly. Wow. You know, I wasn't giving them too much credit when I said they had a 4 out of 10 comeback potential. I think that may have changed my mind just a little bit. They're getting at least 1 or 2 points for that effort right there.
Well, absolutely, and that's what we wanted out of them, but there's still those slight asterisks on that. Hey, great comeback, but it's not a comeback up until you actually take the game, and then USF marches back, brings it equal, and we're like, okay, it's fine. Well, let's see what overtime brings. Then Florida Poly, great offense. Feedster had to dive and shoot it at his goal to hope for a deflection, and he gets it, a gift from the gods if there ever was one. And then they're able to march down and get a goal. But it's just so classic of your team. You're so close, you're hungry for the goal, and you have all these deflections, all these shots that are barely getting saved, and then you get scored on. All 3 players are on the near post, and no one can get a contact on it. It's just heartbreaking. It's a rough way for your season to go out, but that team is number 2 for a reason. They're going to be moving on and facing on against UCF here in our conference championship, and that's going to be an even tougher battle for South Florida. But after this performance today, it showed a lot of resilience, a lot of offensive firepower. I think if they have that confidence going forward, I think it should be a very interesting matchup on the 14th. Yeah. Today's LLS hero of the game is Banger from the University of South Florida. We got him on the line. Banger, how you feeling after that series?
I'm feeling pretty good. We came out. We dropped the first game. We like to do that for some reason, but we did. And then we said afterwards, let's 4-1 these guys, and then we did. So we're feeling great.
I mean, it sounds like a pretty solid game strategy, but yeah, executed pretty much to perfection there. I mean, they had a decent effort there to try and make the run back happen in Game 5, but overall, it seems like you guys completely crushed them in Games 2, 3, and 4. Particularly yourself, you had an amazing high-scoring game with high accuracy as well. Did you think that you guys were kind of popping off a little bit in that series? Because it really did seem like it from the spectating booth.
Yeah, so we actually just came back from a LAN this weekend. We played in Orlando. It was like a Southeast Regional Invitational thing against UCF in the grand final. So we're riding the high off that. We're playing peak Rocket League right now, I think. So yeah, everything was just going well. All our plays are lining up, and so everything's heading in the right direction. And yeah, like you said, that game 5 was pretty close. They have a pretty it's their game plan every time as Florida Poly is just make sure they're demoing the third man. So we have to watch out for that, make sure rotations are quick, and if we were doing that, we're chilling.
Yeah, and when you're playing teams like Florida Poly, of course, you have to keep mind of all the demos. But beyond that, what is really the mindset when you have a team that is so aggressive, especially when they get on the lead? Like, where are you guys sitting in between those goals? What are the comms like to be able to get yourselves back in the game? Because that was really the story of game number 5. We started to build a narrative of saying, oh, well, maybe Florida Poly's back, but you guys triumphantly came back, had a nice be able to respond down the stretch and get the win. What was it like to be in the comms there for the USF side?
Yeah, so the comms are the most important thing against a team like Florida Poly because rotations are always going to be awkward when demos occur. So that's really important. And I think both of our plays, we had like somebody downfield, and then the person that's coming up to the ball is calling for a pass, and then it sort of just the play plays itself at that point. But we knew we just had to keep playing, and if we get the win, we do. If not, it's we go next. But that's just our mentality, is just keep playing and see what happens.
All right, and I think for me as well, I'm looking forward here, and again, UCF on the horizon here for conference championships. Yep. You said you faced off against them here on land just recently, but especially the performance here today, how are you guys feeling about moving forward here? Because like I said, you looked insane. You said you felt pretty insane, so lots of confidence here facing off against Central Florida.
Yeah, a lot of confidence. I know that they're going to be bringing it, wanting revenge for this weekend, of course. So it's we'll have to look out for them. I know they're going to bring it. It's always close series between us two, so I'm looking forward to it. They're always a lot of fun.
All right, well, it seems like you guys are confident. Congrats on your LAN victory from what it sounds like. So yeah. Good job on that. And I'll let you guys get back to the rest of your night, but good job on that series. Congrats on getting through to the 14th for that conference championship. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you get off the line here?
Shout out to anybody in chat who's supporting us, and all the viewers that make collegiate esports a thing. It's always so much fun, and thank you guys for putting on such a great cast. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Banger. And of course, got to shout out the Hype Squad. That's a good man. No, to shout out the supporters. Banger, thank you for your time, and have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you guys too. Take care.